Anthropology 340 Native Cultures of North America. It's Friday of week 3. We're going to be continuing our look at the documentary Real Injun. Last time I did a little brief presentation kind of introducing the film as well as the different kind of eras that we'll be looking at. We did just kind of an introduction era or the introduction to the film last time. And today we'll go back to the silent era and kind of move up probably through the 1950s or 60s and kind of thinking about how those representations have changed and maybe why. Before we jump into the movie for today, remember you have a quiz this week and as well as the homework on Real Engine. And you have these first two questions which you can answer before you watch the film. So we only watched the little intro so far. So let's think about this. What stereotypes of Indians or Native people do you personally have you seen in movies, media, TV, video games, etc.? What kind of stereotypes have you seen over your life? What are some prominent ones? Yeah, lifestyle, like living in teepees and hunting buffaloes and riding horses, right? A certain way of life, which uh, doesn't cover all different native groups and also is pretty archaic, right? Like people are, like you saw in the kind of intro to the documentary, people are living in, in towns and trailers, houses, driving cars, going to work, right? It's just the idea of living in a teepee on hunting buffalo is similar to like thinking about other, people going on the Oregon Trail or being knights, right? Like it's part of history, but that's not how people live today. Um, what are some prominent media franchises or movies or games or shows that you've seen representations of Native people in? Can you think of anything specifically? Yeah? Yeah, let's talk about that.
It's like, I don't know, like I feel like it's definitely a bit of a stereotype,
Mm-hmm.
but because it's like the Cowboys versus Indians and they're the little tiny figurine dioramas for
Mm-hmm.
just everything going on.
Yeah, right. And it kind of plays into that those stereotypes and kind of brings them to life, right? But again, you kind of lose that nuance. You only get kind of the action figure version or the museum version of what native culture would look like, not the actual real people. Anybody else? Yeah, Assassin's Creed playing right, kind of on the border between native society and colonial society. And I think that's a pretty good one, right, in terms of representation. It is made by Ubisoft and probably French or I don't know wherever they are, Montreal, whichever studio made it. You do hear Haudenosaunee or Iroquois people speaking in their own languages when they're in their own villages. Thanks for picking something that I had a connection to. Yeah, so you hear people speaking in their own language. I think in number 4, where you're a pirate, you go to the Yucatan, and it's really fun as someone who studied Yucatec Maya to hear people speaking in Yucatec Maya in a video game. Like, oh, they actually like paid attention, and they're not doing what we'll see today, which is known as Tonto speak, right? Kind of this gibberish or broken English. You're actually representing people in their own language. So we do get kind of both. Think about these for your own life, right? What stereotypes maybe have we gotten from media? What media have you seen which maybe does a good job of portraying native cultures, and which ones have you seen which maybe do not such a good job? Okay, we still have plenty of movie left, and actually we'll split it up between today and on Monday, but we're going to watch kind of the old-timey movies. So again, if you're interested in film and media, this should be right up your alley. And we'll be thinking about how those portrayals have changed over time. So if you are at home or watching this video, we're going to flip back over to the Real Engine film. We're going to start up about 11 minutes in, and we'll go for, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes or so today, and then we'll finish up on Monday. So I'm going to pause the movie here so we don't get copyrighted, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, we've watched about 50 minutes of the movie. We're about out of time for today, but I did before we go just kind of want to talk about what we saw. What are some of the stereotypes that we saw in the movie? Kind of the early history of Hollywood. Yeah, right, especially from the 1930s on, the savage violence, especially men and women are portrayed how? As the, yeah, the Indian princess kind of epitomized by Pocahontas, right? kind of the beautiful, young, available woman who is in touch with nature and somehow bridges, native culture with and provides an opening for white culture. We also see, I think one of the interesting things about it, especially with that last section on Iron Eyes Cody Ray, is the complexity that a lot of these, whether it's kind of during the silent era or later, where a lot of these people either are native, native people themselves trying to be in the movies, and often kind of speaking, resistance. You see that great clip of them kind of saying things off script because no one knows what they're saying, or people pretending to be Native Americans and taking those roles, right, and kind of acting out almost like a caricature of what they think Native life might be like versus actual Native people. And so when we come back on Monday, we'll be looking at kind of the more recent era, the last 50 or 60 years of film, and the ways that some of those stereotypes hopefully have been changed to something a little bit more in touch with reality. So if you haven't, we'll check out the rest of the movie on Monday. And if you haven't finished the homework and you want to turn it in after we finish the film, that's fine. If not, you can check it out online. So, all right, thanks everybody, and I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.